Arsenal is taking on a team known as Southampton that is tomorrow at the St. Mary's Stadium that capacitates 32,384 people in there. So, FA Cup quarter-final, if Arsenal wins this game, they are going back to Wembley where they were really destroyed by Man City. The last time they really had an outing at Wembley. Smash like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Rokani David being my name, and I just love you guys and continue to support us, and we will also known really forsake you by bringing you news and information. If I'm to count right now, I think we have so far done, this is going to be the 4th video of the day onto the channel, not so? 1 live stream and 3 uploads. Oh my God. Yet I still feel like there is one more I'm supposed to obviously give you. And it's most likely to be concerning Man City and Liverpool in there for you. So do the needful and keep it this channel, and let's see how things will obviously go on and really roll out here as I really keep up the pace of really feeding you with the latest news and information as far as everything is really concerned. So Arsenal and Southampton. Now let's see the head-to-head. Southampton has scored 6 goals in the FA Cup. Arsenal is going to hit to score 10. Now, Southampton has conceded 3 goals. Arsenal is going to hit to concede 2. Shots are 20 for Southampton, 13 on target, and 7 off target. 7 shots have been blocked by the opponents Southampton is going to hit to play with. Then 33 shots for the club of Arsenal, 18 shots on target, 15 off target, 18 shots blocked by the opponents that Arsenal are going to hit to play in the FA Cup. Southampton has an 80.89% passing accuracy per game, and even Arsenal averages 86.8% per game in there. So, the last game that Southampton played, they beat Oxford by 2-0, and Arsenal lost to Man City by 2-0 in the Carabao Cup finale. Previous meetings, there are 98 meetings between Arsenal and Southampton. Southampton is going to hit to win 23. Arsenal is going to hit to win 48, and draws are 27. And the previous scores for the games that are going to be played between Arsenal and Southampton, the season of 21st April 2023, you remember that game that ended 3-3, at Emirates. And if Arsenal had gone ahead to win that game, they would have gone ahead to find themselves in a position of really lifting or really increasing their chances of lifting the trophy. And last season, 2024, 5th October, Arsenal beat Southampton 3-1 at the Emirates, and when Arsenal went ahead to pay them a visit, they beat Southampton by 2-1 in there for you. So that's how things really went ahead to pan out when Arsenal came up to play against this side. Now, when we obviously go to the team news, the players that Arteta has told us that are really out: Mikel Arteta is out, Noni Madueke is out, Ebelechi Eze is out, Hinkapie is out. But the rest of the players are in contention to feature into the game of football that Arsenal is going to be playing against a team known as Southampton in there for you. So after that, we go to Southampton in there for you. And Southampton are not in perfect shape for the quarterfinal either, as midfield Metronome, Flon Downs, and playmaker Kuryu Mutsuk are both suspended owing to an accumulation of yellow cards, having been booked for the second time in the FA Cup at the Craven Cottage. And they do have, Ekret is hopeful of having Leo, their manager is known as Ekret, having Leo Cienza back, while Jack Stephens had his ankle at open training in Monday, but is also receiving is also recovering quickly. Ex-Brentford right back Mad Rovers is having an injury, is out for the season, while Wellington is having a muscle injury. J. Robinson is having a thigh injury. Alex McCarthy is having a wrist injury, and also in care of the doctors in there for you. So that is what you're really having in here onto what we call the Rokani Media Football, and that is the team news that is going to hit to come in through. And after the team news, you know where we head to. We head into the probable starting 11 for the club of Arsenal and which players we think will obviously come and really show up. System, it's a 4-3-3, though sometimes the manager goes in for a 4-2-3-1 in there for you. So, in goal, it's going to be Kepa Arrizabalaga is the goalkeeper for this competition. And I tell you, even if Arsenal find themselves in the final, Kepa Arrizabalaga will be in between the stitches, as Raya is doing the job for Arsenal in what we call the Premier League and Champions League. Right back, Benjamin White will obviously show up and represent to the fullest to really help Arsenal go through to the semi-finals of the FA Cup. Left back, I see Lewis Kelly coming up and obviously representing a man who is really making huge buzz in the media to leave the side of Manchester, to leave the side of Arsenal, and wants to go to Man United. And United also do have interest in the player, and they want to see to it that they really sign him. So we just can't wait to see how things will pan out for him. Then centre back, left-sided, Riccardo Carafiori obviously will come in through to feature, returning after his nation, that is Italy, failed to qualify for what we call the World Cup. Right-sided centre-back, playing for Spain, I think for his very first time, Mosquera Christian will feature predominantly into that side. And a lot is expected in him. So that is my back five for the club of Arsenal. Then we go to the CDM. It's really going to be Norgard in there for you to do the needful. And Declan Rice, to me, will come in through and obviously play alongside Norgard. And Kai Havertz will play as a number 10 for the club of Arsenal. Right forward, I see Max Dowman coming in through to capitalize onto the absentia of Noni Madueke. Bukayo Saka available, but I think the manager will be like, he'll come off the bench. Left forward, I see Gabriel Martinelli starting and leading the line. There is a man who scored 4 goals, and I think he deserves a rest, and he'll come off the bench later on, meaning that Gabriel Jesus, who never participated in the international break, will obviously show up. So that is my probable starting 11 for the side of Arsenal, as they prepare for the side of Southampton, as you see that. Now, I expect the following players to be on the bench. Timber on the bench, Gabriel Magalhaes on the bench, Saliba on the bench, Zubimendi on the bench, Odegaard on the bench, Saka on the bench, Gyökeres on the bench, Trossard on the bench. So I expect those players to obviously be on the bench for the club of Arsenal in this particular encounter. And if Southampton in any way tries to be stubborn, the manager will obviously be having those guns in there. And I expect him to really get some players sometime, because there are those that have not kicked a ball for some time, like Odegaard, Timber, Saka ever since the final hasn't played, Rice, Trossard, and very many others. But you never know, they might have been participating into what we call closed door games in there. Now, Southampton, they are probable starting 11. Peretes in goal, Bree, Hood, Howard, and Manning. That is what we call the back four. Charles, Romeo, and Fellows, midfield 3, Azazi, and Edozie, and Stewart will obviously do the needful for the side of Southampton into this particular encounter. And it's really going to be a very beautiful game to watch. And It's going to be coming in through at 22 hours, and most of you will be really eagerly waiting for this, as the biggest game is going to be Liverpool paying a visit to a team known as Liverpool paying a visit to a team known as Man City. That is it. Now, let's get to the match facts of this particular encounter, right? First and foremost, this will be the 6th FA Cup tie between Arsenal and Southampton. The Gunners progressed from/won each of the first 4 in 1926 to 1927 season, 1978, 1979 season, 2002, 2003 season, and 2016-2017 season, but the Saints won the last one in the 2020-2021 fourth round. So the Saints, the last time they faced Arsenal, they beat them. We leave it at that. Now we get to the second one. Arsenal have won both of their last 2 meetings with Southampton in all competitions, both in the 2024 and 2025 Premier League. Last winning 3 in a row against the Saints in February 2004. That is Arsenal for you. So they have won both of their last 2 meetings with Southampton in all competitions, and that was in the Premier League. I've already gone ahead to read to you that. After beating Fulham in the 5th round, Southampton could eliminate 2 top flight opponents in a single FA Cup campaign while playing outside of the top flight themselves for the first time since 1975 and 1976, when they won the competition for the only time in their history, knocked out Aston Villa and Manchester United. So they stand really a very huge chance because they're going to be playing at home. After beating Fulham in the 5th round, all right, let's leave it. Arsenal have progressed from 45 of their last 48 FA Cup ties against sides from outside the Premier League, failing only to Blackburn Rovers in 2012-2013, Nottingham Forest in 2017-2018, and Nottingham Forest in 2021-2022. So you need to keep that in mind. The Saints have been eliminated from each of their last 5 FA quarterfinal ties when facing top flight opponents, including against Arsenal in 1978 and 1979. They last progressed from such a tie in 1962 to 1963, beating Forest after 2 replays while the Saints were in the 2nd tier. So I'm giving you these match facts before I obviously come up with my match preview. My match prediction. Then Arsenal have progressed from 14 of their last 16 FA Cup quarterfinal ties, going out only in 2010-2011 to Manchester United and 2015-2016 to Watford in this time. You've heard that? So it really screams success only, right? Tonda has won all 3 of his FA Cup games as Southampton manager and could become only the 3rd manager to win his first 4 with the Saints in the competition, after George Gross in 1925 and Alan Pardew in 2009-2010. So Tonda Ekret is the manager of Southampton, who is obviously going to be facing off with the manager of Arsenal, who goes by names of Mikel Arteta. So that is it. And now, lastly, we've been told that Gabriel Martinelli has more goal involvements than any other player in the FA Cup this season from the 3rd round. 5 to 4, 4 goals and 1 assist, while each of his last 6 goal involvements in the competition have come against lower league opponents. Now, they are like telling us that you should look out onto Gabriel Martinelli when it comes to what he's obviously going to be delivering tomorrow on the pitch, because most of his goals have come in through when he's playing against teams like Southampton. So What else should we expect apart from getting the best of the best from the club of Arsenal? Now, this game means a lot. From the international break after losing the Carabao Cup finale, Arteta has all what it takes to really put his team back to what we call the winning stretch. And getting back to winning ways obviously helps you charge for what we call the Premier League games and Champions League games. Remember, after playing against Bournemouth, Arsenal will obviously face off a team known as Sporting Lisbon in the midweek. Then they will obviously host Bournemouth in the league. Then they host what's the name of the team? Then they host Sporting Lisbon at Emirates in the Champions League. Then later they will go up to Manchester and face Man City. So this game is really very important because it builds them momentum as far as their charge is really concerned. So I'm excited and I'm really looking forward to this game. And now my prediction comes in through. 3-1 win for the club of Arsenal. That is it. I don't see Southampton stop Arsenal. I'm really sure. There is no way Southampton is really going to be playing again, is really going to be stopping a team known as Arsenal, I tell you. So let's wait and see how things really pan out in here. But for everyone who has been part of this video, thank you. We just love you. And we just dropped another spoiler for you to obviously come at you and really show you exactly what we think this game of football is going to be. But for Southampton, they are a side that is in the championship fighting to obviously get into the Premier League again, you know. And when you look at the EFL Championship and you go to the table, oh my God, where is Southampton? Southampton is placed 7th, and that means if the league ends from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, they need to be 6th because the first 2 get straight back into the Premier League and the next 4 get into the most expensive fixture. You know, a team that really wins what we call the championship playoff, you know, it really goes ahead to win close to £300 million, you know. It is really very, 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 very expensive. And all right, they've told us that the winner receives a minimum of £220 million in increased revenue, broadcast and merit. So that means it's really watched hugely all over the world. So a team in the championship that is really 7th can shock Arsenal. It's on record. They've gone ahead to shock very many. So don't obviously just sit there and really understand, really say they cannot shock Arsenal. They can shock Arsenal. So Arsenal should go in all in for this, because this trophy is really very important for Mikel Arteta. It is the first trophy he has won for the club of Arsenal, you know, and it's the only one. The Carabao Cup failed, and now we are waiting to see whether he wins the FA Cup. But Arsenal fans are like, even if you really knock us out of the FA Cup, we are looking at 2 competitions. That is the Premier League and the Champions League. You get? So let's wait and see how it will go down at the St. Mary's Stadium. That is my probable starting 11. Who do you add and who do you really subtract from my team? I'll be waiting for that in the comment section below. Continue to subscribe. We love you all, and this is what we do in here. It is the Rokani Media Football, and I think you're going to enjoy this video. And please show your love by smashing the like button, subscribing, and hitting the notification bell such that you get notified every time Rokani uploads a video onto this beautiful channel of ours. I sign out and see you when you see me, and never look back. Right? Bye bye.